Strict rules the cast of Umbrella Academy has to follow. Hello everyone, welcome back to Off-Cam Celebs. And today we are going to talk about the strict rules the cast of Umbrella Academy has to follow. Let's get started. No bad-mouthing other actors. So you know how aren't really allowed to complain about your coworkers at your job, or if you do, it has to be behind closed doors kind of thing with people you trust so it doesn't spiral out into a whole new office politics situation. Well, the same is true for the actors of Umbrella Academy, except that they have no bad-mouthing their co-stars written into their contracts and face serious repercussions if they break that rule. There are a couple of reasons why Netflix would include this policy in their actors' contracts. One of the big reasons is that any public drama could draw the wrong kind of attention to Umbrella Academy. Netflix wants to conservation around Umbrella Academy to center on how interesting the project is and how it's unlike other superhero stories. Controlling the conversation around the show lets Netflix market it much more effectively and ultimately results in them making more money. However, if the conversation shifts on how an actor had a bad time on set or two performers didn't get along, Netflix immediately has to start damage control. This draws attention away from Umbrella Academy and makes more people interested in the drama surrounding the show. Additionally, Netflix really doesn't want to deal with actors who have clashing personalities. Every workspace has people that just don't get along and are only polite to each other because they have to. Though actors sometimes have to work very closely with people they dislike and their job requires them to be more emotionally vulnerable. This makes it in a way easier to get on somebody's bad side and criticize someone behind their back. Fast tracks that process pretty quick. Actors not being able to easily work together can lead to production delays. A lot of needless stress and the worst show overall. Since Netflix can't force actors to be friends, they do the next best thing and forbid their employees from bad-mouthing anyone. Are there some unsavory ethical implications and limiting what an actor can say when they're not working? Yes, but Netflix doesn't care about that so long as actors do their job well and produce those money-making shows like Umbrella Academy. Stick to approved topics in interviews. Speaking of what actors are and are not allowed to say, the performers of Umbrella Academy have to stick to specific talking points during interviews. No matter how candid and casual a show tries to make these interviews seem, these actors are still on clock and giving workshop responses, which goes in line and how much a vice grip Netflix has on their lives of their performers. Although they don't get something out of it too. Both Netflix and the actors performing an Umbrella Academy have a vested interest in the show performing well. If it's a hit, Netflix makes a whole bunch of money and performers can get better roles and have higher rates. Everybody wins, and that is why both groups want to talk about the show in a way that benefits them. Usually then involves some coaching from Netflix. It's super common for outlets like Netflix to instruct their performers on how to best behave in public and how to talk about their show. Of course, performers are usually eager to go along with this since their job is at risk if they step out of the line. However, this does lead to a kind of problematic standard that is not good for the entertainment industry and the people working in it. If speaking out about issues on the set or with certain co-workers is forbidden or even just frowned upon. A lot of problems can fester mismanagement. People acting inappropriately and poor communication can all turn into massive problems. If actors aren't allowed to speak out, ironically, Netflix's efforts to improve a project are creating an environment that can lead to a production nightmare. Granted, there should be the rules in place to prevent actors from just trash talking a show. Their experience could have been vastly different from everybody else involved, and sometimes misunderstandings can be blown out of proportion. However, actors should still be able to raise their issues with their workplace publicly and privately without fear of major repercussions. The simple matter of fact that is these problems will never improve across the industry until actors are allowed to talk about them. Expressing too many controversial opinions are not allowed. Netflix absolutely does not want the actors on Umbrella Academy to express too many controversial opinions. Doing so could draw attention away from the show, or perhaps even worse, bring a lot of negative attention to the program. To that end, Netflix limits how the actors engage with a place where controversial opinions thrive: social media. Exchange for wealth and fame that comes with being a celebrity, Netflix requires that their actors have a muted social media presence. Of course, Umbrella Academy actors are still allowed to promote the show online and their other endeavors, but they can't get too divisive, or at least not more controversial than what Netflix signed up for. Being public figures, Netflix realizes that whenever they sign an actor onto a project, they have to accept their personality and opinions. For instance, lead actor Ellen Page is incredibly open about her progressive politics and feminist activism. Obviously, Netflix is okay with Paige expressing these kinds of opinion, but if an actor voices contentious ideas out of nowhere, it becomes an issue. After all, a performer engaging in problematic discourse or behavior reflects poorly on the program and Netflix as a company. The production structure of Netflix's season release model also makes it virtually impossible for them to quickly remove a troublesome actor from a project. So it makes sense then that Netflix would want to curtail as much of that concerning online activity as possible. Then again, nowadays, social media is the easiest way for a person to express their values and advocate for causes that are important to them. Netflix limiting a performer's ability to do that is concerning at least and normally questionable at worst. Limiting what people can do in their personal lives is already pretty shady. Limiting what they can say, though, is downright unethical and pretty overbearing on Netflix. Even if the company is looking out for their bottom line, their employees' happiness should also be a concern. It's pretty difficult to live your best life if you can't speak out about the things that are important to you, even if they are more radical. Wearing official outfits while in public and even in interviews. As you'd expect, Netflix wants the performers on Umbrella Academy to look their best whenever they're on camera. However, these can manifest in some pretty unusual ways, like not being able to wear their own makeup or even clothes whenever they're going to be on camera. Clearly, this makes a lot of sense when the actors are recording scenes for episodes of Umbrella Academy. The personalities and the attitudes of their character are vastly different from the actors themselves after all. However, these rules applies when they're giving interviews and making public appearance as well. Performers have to look sharp and on brand during their promotional appearances, which means they can't express themselves through their appearance. The reasoning behind this rule can be a bit more sinister than the thought. A lot of front-end costs for film and television production are covered by having companies paid to advertise their products in the project. While these products often appear in the shows themselves, actors can also have to promote them during their appearance outside of a show, like having to drink a specific kind of soda or brand of water during an interview. In more extreme cases, they can have to wear a specific brand of makeup or clothing while in public. Yup, that's right. Netflix is literally using their actors as human mannequins and having them advertise products without disclosing the sponsorship. That is pretty sketchy and unfair to viewers. Consumers deserve the right to know when an actor is being paid to promote a product and that it's not something that they used in their everyday life. Unfortunately, the shadier practice isn't like to go away anytime soon. Their history of product placement in shows and celebrity advertisement is both expensive and kind of weird. Brands, celebrities, and bad campaigns have mixed together and pretty much everywhere imaginable, since Hollywood became a cultural landmark, with a lot of those advertising techniques being much scummier than what Netflix is doing now with Umbrella Academy actors. What do you think of all the weird rules the cast of Umbrella Academy has to follow? Let us know in the comment section below and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.